now you are speaking against NRC,
Yes.
against CAB.
Yes.
But were these the issues when you resigned?
No,
Or
no. Actually, as I said, I have on the Kashmir and the reasons, I went to a couple of places. And one of the places I went in Chennai was actually where this conversation happened, where one young girl stood up and said that, I was asking them why is there a need to dissent? Why should there be a freedom of expression? Why is it that we should question the government? And this young girl gets up and says, what all these rights that you're talking about? I am, I'm 23-year-old and I'm not even sure whether tomorrow I'll be an Indian or not. So what kind of rights are you talking about? So that is when I actually, the first question of NRC that hit me. And then when I took it up with, I was just narrating this incident to a couple of friends, like I'm narrating to you in Mumbai, a couple of Muslim friends. And one of them started crying. And I still remember all those tears in the beard, tuck, 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 that is coming there. I can't imagine that. And he was telling that his entire family is looking for his grandfather's document who had joined INA or something, and they are unable to find it. And they are worried if they are not able to find it, whether they'll be able to prove they are Indian citizens or not. And that's when he shared that half of Mumbai, the majority population, the WhatsApp groups in which Muslim members are there mostly, they are all into this document verification part, or they're all searching for these documents, and all very old documents, and that's already happening in this country. And I felt so privileged and also ashamed at the same time that being a Hindu, I'm sitting, both of us, the NRC is going to be there for all of us, but then he is the one who is concerned about to find out. I might not be even having one generation ahead documents, but he's looking at 2 generation ahead documents. I felt so ashamed that this is what is happening in this country, and that's what prompted me to study more about NRC and CAB, and understood that NRC is not about Muslims, CAB is about Muslims, NRC is about poor, irrespective of any whether it is Muslim or Hindu or anything. NRC is about people who do not have the resources to find all these documents, people whose parents did not have these resources to keep all these documents, people whose grandparents did not have these documents, like that. So, and who are these people who will not have 50-year-old documents? It is those people who are poor, it is those people who are migrants, it's those people who are displaced, those people who are affected by natural disasters, those people who, those women who marry and move to another place who don't carry such documents, because the moment you move, don't carry such things. It's about tribals who are even still fighting for the documents of this age, because they're all first generation or second generation educated people. They're not the people, even now there is a lot to be, school education has to happen in a lot of places. So these are the people who are not having documents. The question of NRC is never about illegal immigrants, because if you ask the government, how do you define illegal immigrants, I think they would say those people who do not have documents X, Y, Z, like that. So effectively what the government is saying is that we are against people who are not having documents, and such kind of documents which are very old. So do we want a government which says we are against the people who are not having documents and saying that they should be deported or they should be detained? That's what NRC is about. NRC is about detaining people who do not have documents, and that's going to be a major issue in this country. Now, when they understood that this could happen on both Hindus and Muslims, as the Assam NRC has shown, then the CAB has come up, and CAB has come up to say or assuage people that if you are a Hindu and don't have a document, don't worry. If you are a Sikh or an Isai or a Christian or a Baud or a Buddhist or a Jain, don't worry. But if you are a Muslim, you will be detained. But even to those people, they are not saying you will be given citizenship. They will be given the refugee status. And the refugee, from refugee, the citizenship will be given. So first the government is saying, we will make all those people in this country without documents as refugees. The first thing that, even if you bring CAB, what the government is saying, you bring anything, because under CAB citizenship can be granted, but under NRC citizenship is taken away. So the citizenship is first taken away, and then you will be, if you come under the CAB criteria, then you will be treated as a refugee, and then an accelerated process of granting citizenship will be done. So the government will first take away your citizenship, give you a refugee, make you look a refugee in your own country where you are born, okay, and then will give you citizenship as what, as sort of a, you will be begging, or you will be at the mercy of the government to do that. What kind of a right does the government have to say that a citizen in this country, because he does not have a document, is not a citizen in this country? It's not even your document. I can show my document that my Aadhaar or my voter ID card. The entire population in this country felt once they made the Aadhaar, this craze for document is over. At least now I have my Aadhaar. But now that's not. Again, another 20 years is going to be running behind documents. If you ask my documents, I can understand. The government is asking, show your document. I can go and show my document. You are asking my father's document. You are asking my father's father's document. You are asking 50 years old documents. How can you do that? How, and what right does the government have to do that? So this is something, we are not even questioning these issues. And laws are not like, government can bring whatever laws. No. And it's not the case that, people do not have a right to react or demand for changes in the law. No. RTI was come out of a constant demand. Most of the laws in this country have come out of demand by the people. And if the amendment to Land Acquisition Act, which was brought as an ordinance in the government in the last 2014, farmers protested and the land law was taken back. It has still not come. So we don't have to almost assume that if the government says something is going to come up, it is going to come up. No, we have a duty and a right, both, I would say, to oppose and resist, because this is in the interest of the country. This NRC exercise otherwise is going to ruin this country for the next 15-20 years, just like the Notebandi or the demonetization is still affecting our economy without having hold of even 1 rupee of black money. So this is what is going to happen. And your incompetence should not be allowed to affect the country's future. It's our duty to tell the government or teach the government that this what you're doing is not correct. You have to do that.
What do you think, in your own opinion, that this 19 lakhs of people and more than that, these devoters?
I don't know. See, Assam,
what they will do with these people?
See, Assam has a historic context towards NRC. So you would know the 83 and the 85 and the whole history of it. So there is a context, and it was in response to that. Whether the way they did NRC there, this was the answer to that question. So the question is there. Okay, the answer is what a good answer is what the government is supposed to find. Okay, instead of that, they go for the easiest answer. Easiest answer by putting the entire burden on the citizens, because government does not want to take any burden. Government, the bureaucrats, the way they say is, okay, let the people come out with their documents. It's not their job to find out, how can we think like that? I don't know. Let them do. It's your job to find. If you find out the way, however you want, that these are the 10 illegal immigrants that you have to be thrown out. It's your job to do it. Why should you do it for every citizen to prove they are a citizen instead of?
No, actually, so before this NRC, IMDT Act was there, IMDT 1983. At that time, the burden of proof was lied on the state and the
yes.
person who complained.
Yes.
Who complained against one person. But that was changed.
I think at least when it comes to citizenship, the proof, the burden of proof definitely has to be on the state and never on the citizen. A poor citizen will never be able to prove. He is unable to prove. Many of the people are unable to be even enlisted in the BPL or enlisted in, even they will be even unable to prove they exist. How are they going to prove that they are citizens, and they are going to be citizens from 50 years they were citizens here? It's just an completely inhuman kind of a...
It was the constitutional bench of Supreme Court who quashed that.
That's okay.
Then the question arises, whom we are going to fight?
No, we are fighting for, we are not fighting against anybody. We are fighting for what we want. Okay? That is that NRC should not happen. NRC is inhumane. It is going to cost a lot to this country, both in humanitarian, economic, emotional, mental distress. Imagine the number of people who will be in anxiety because they don't have document. Imagine the mental stress to that. Imagine the productivity loss due to that. The amount of stress this country is going to go through because of this exercise. Irrespective of the fact that whether Supreme Court is saying, Supreme Court said something about SC/ST Act, right? There was a demand and the government changed it. So it is not that Supreme Court is final or the judiciary or the legislature or the government is final. No. In this country, the people are final. If there is demand, if we say that this is not acceptable, the government would find a way to come out with it. And we are requesting the government. So we are asking that let's not ruin this country by doing such things.